Hey everybody, welcome to the 5th Deck Profile Friday. In this video, I'll be covering one of my favorite decks from the 2008 Worlds format, which goes from EX Holon Phantoms to Diamond and Pearl Majestic Dawn. And the deck that we're going to be covering is Empoleon Bronzong. Now, this is one of my favorite decks to play because of one, the disruption factor, and two, the damage spread factor. You know, it allows you to take multiple KOs in a single turn, and it's also one of the few decks that can compete with the Gardevoir Gallade deck that won the World Championships, piloted by Jason Klasinski. Fantastic deck, and this deck has actually, I wouldn't say like it's like an auto loss to it, and I wouldn't say it's an auto win, but I would say it's actually really close to a 50-50 matchup, depending on hands, prizes, etc. Right? So, without further ado, we'll get into the deck profile. So, to start, we got 4 Empoleon, 2 Prinplup, and 4 Piplup. And so this here is the main attacker of the deck. Piplup there, it's 60 HP, which is good. It's got an energy-less attack for 10 and 1 retreat cost as well. As well as a weakness to lightning with only +10. So lightning is a type in this format that's not really played at all. So this is why Empoleon is actually able to stand out a lot more. So awesome card. The Prinplup there, it's the middle stage. It's got 2 awesome attacks. Aqua Shower. It does a 10 spread to everything on your opponent's side of the field. And for 2 water, it has an attack called Brine, which allows you to choose one of your opponent's Pokemon that has any damage counters on it. This attack does 40 damage to that Pokemon, so it's capable of knocking out things like Baltoys, who have 50 HP. So after an Aqua Shower, you're able to Brine and just knock it out. Or things like other Piplups or Ralts. Ralts has a 50 HP as well, so easy knockout. Or even other basics like Chatot, right? That allows you to draw cards from your deck, right? So awesome card. 1 retreat cost as well. 80 HP and only a +20 weakness to lightning. So pretty good. This is the best version in my opinion. So Empoleon there. That's the main attacker of the deck. 130 HP solid. 2 retreat costs, which is about average for a stage 2. And actually 2 really good attacks. Dual Splash. Choose 2 of your opponent's Pokemon, and this attack does 30 damage to each of them. So that's like a more specific snipe, which is really good. And then a bigger attack called Surf Together does 50 damage plus 10 more damage for each of your benched Pokemon. So you got a full bench. It does 100 damage, which is awesome. And then it says flip a coin of tails. This attack does 10 damage to each of your benched Pokemon. So it's can be a little bit problematic in the mirror because it will trigger Bronzong's effect. But nonetheless, it's still a pretty good card, and there's a reason why we made 4 of it. So on to the other Pokemon. We have a 3 Bronzong line. So Bronzer there, resistance to fire, which is awesome. It does have a weakness to psychic, so it's gonna kind of get one hit KO'd, pretty much by the entire Gardevoir line, right? One retreat cost, which is good. It's attack hypnosis for a colorless. It's actually a pretty decent stall if you're in a tight spot. It's an automatic sleep on your opponent, so pretty good. And then Bronzong, one of the other attackers in the deck, not the main attacker, but the secondary attacker. It's got an amazing ability where it says, as long as Bronzong is your active, put 1 damage counter on each of your opponent's Pokemon that has any Poke Powers. Pardon me. It says put 1 damage counter on each of your opponent's Pokemon that has any Poke Powers between turns. So just misunderstood it there. So that's actually really good because it's able to hit things like Gardevoir with the Telepass ability, Claydolls, right? Able to hit things like Leafeon level X, right? If you're playing an opponent that plays that, right? Or Glaceon, another big one. Just a lot of things it hits, right? And then it's got Pain Amplifier. Its first attack, Energyless, which is awesome. This one here, it says, put 1 damage counter on each of your opponent's Pokemon that already has damage counters on it. So that's kind of what I mixed up there. But, yeah, that attack is awesome. So if you're able to hit an Aqua Shower with the Prinplup, right? Or a couple of dual splashes with the Empoleon, you can use that to just clean up, right? And just keep spreading damage. Now, coating, this attack doesn't really get used a whole lot, but one thing that this deck does is it's more of a come from behind deck. So if your opponent's able to get up on prizes with their Gardevoir, right, you can use that attack to potentially get a knockout on it, right, with a Scramble Energy, which provides 3 energy. So that's pretty good. And it also reduces the attack damage done to Bronzong by 20 the next turn. So pretty awesome. Next, we're on to the support Pokemon. We got a 2 Claydol and a single Chatot. And then this is it for the Pokemon. So Chatot there, free retreat, which is awesome. And it allows you to shuffle your hand into your deck to draw a number of cards equal to your opponent for its attack, for Mimic. Chatter as well is actually pretty good. It's able to lock your opponent from retreating. So a nice little stall tactic. Baltoy there. Psychic Balance. If you have less cards than your opponent, draw cards until you have the same number. So this is actually pretty good. It's a good hand refresher. And then the other reason why it's there, it's just to primarily evolve into Claydol. Claydol there, it's Cosmic Power. You can put up to 2 cards from your hand at the bottom of your deck in any order. And if you do, draw cards until you have 6 in your hand. So this is a fantastic card. It does get shut down by things like Cessation Crystal and Psychic Lock on the Gardevoir, but it's still worth playing if you're not playing against another Gardevoir deck, right? So, fantastic card, and that's it for the Pokemon. So on to the trainers, on to the supporters. We got 4 Celios Network, 4 Roseanne's Research, 3 Stevens Advice, and a single Baby's Search. So Celio, it's able to search for pretty much any Pokemon in the deck, basic or evolution, which is awesome. Babes, I have a Babes in there to act like a fifth Celio. Just because it's a little bit harder to draw evolutions in this deck, so I wanted to have one extra, right? One extra evolution card searcher. Roseanne's Research. This is a really good card to fetch your basics and or basic energy. Pretty fantastic, and it adds so much consistency to the deck. Steven's Advice. This is still the best draw supporter in the format. If you have 7 or more cards, you can't play it, but if you have 6 cards or less, right, including that card, you're able to draw cards equal to the number of your opponent's Pokemon in play. So if they have a full bench and an active, right, at 6 Pokemon, so they're able to draw 6 cards. It's fantastic. So, and that's it for the supporters. Now on to the trainers. So for the trainers, we have 4 Rare Candy, 3 Cessation Crystal, 3 Energy Removal 2, 2 Warp Points, and a Night Maintenance. So really simple for the trainers. Rare Candy allows you to evolve into a Stage 1 or Stage 2 on the turn that you play that basic Pokemon. So it's fantastic. Cessation Crystal. It shuts off your opponent's Pokepowers or Pokebodies. And it only takes that effect only takes place if that card, Cessation Crystal, is attached to your active Pokemon. Meaning, if it's on the bench, it does not work. So you typically want to send out something like a Empoleon, right? And just lock them down with it while you're spreading the damage, or even a Prinplup. And to a lesser extent, Bronzong, because otherwise you're going to be losing your ability, right? Your Pokebody, right? That spreads the damage. So it's pretty good disruption. Energy Removal 2, that's another disruption card. I like running Energy Removal 2 and Cessation Crystal together in any disruption deck, just because you're able to take advantage of a situation and make it a lot worse, right? If you're able to lock them down and prevent them from attacking for a turn, that could totally swing the tides of the game in your favor. So 2 Warp Points as well. So that's pretty good because if your opponent's active Pokemon is like a damage counter or 2 short, right? From being knocked out, you're able to move it to the bench, hopefully bringing up something fresh, and then you're able to knock it out via the bench spreading attacks in the deck on things like Bronzong or Empoleon, right? Pretty good. Night Maintenance there. So there's the shuffle, your Pokemon into your deck, or even basic energy. It's pretty much like a 5th Empoleon line, right? So pretty fantastic. And that's it for the trainers. So on to the energy. So I do run a pretty decent energy package. I got 6 water, 4 call energy, and then 4 scramble energy. So the water, pretty standard. It's searchable via Roseanne, so you're pretty much guaranteeing yourself an energy all the time, right? Call energy. So with Call Energy and Roseanne's research, this is what makes decks incredibly consistent, and getting your board set up. In place of your attack for the turn, you can use call energy to search your deck for 2 basic Pokemon and put them onto your bench. So it's a fantastic card, and even in today's format, with it being Sword and Shield on, I could still see value in having a card like that printed. And then Scramble Energy. So, like I said earlier, this is a come from behind deck, and you generally want to let your opponent take the first knockout, and then that way you're able to scramble energy and respond KO them back while locking them down as well. So, pretty awesome card, and yeah, that does it for the deck. In terms of matchups, I think that like I said earlier, it's a very, very close match against the Gardevoir Gallade. I do feel like this deck can, honestly take on pretty much any deck in the format, because it's not as dependent as others on Pokepowers, which is actually fantastic. And it's got a lot of strong Pokemon in it, like Bronzong and Empoleon, right? So, I do think that that Leafeon could give it a little bit of trouble just due to the resistance to water. But I still think that it's winnable. And then things like Magmortar, this should absolutely destroy it just due to the water weakness that Magmortar has. And even rogue decks like Garchomp, and like Togekiss and stuff like that, right? Torterra, Torterra is not too bad, right? It's definitely not better than Leafeon. I think it's probably your worst matchup just because of like I said earlier, the water resistance. But I still think that you definitely can win, right? It just depends on a lot of factors like hand size, probably not hand size, what you draw in your opening hand, prizes as well, right? Etc. So yeah, there you go, guys, and so hopefully see you next Friday for the 6th deck profile. So yeah, take care.